Sorry, Tatiana, can you check if it's still live streaming?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Yes, okay. Hi friends from East Bay. Okay, all right, so chapter 2. Imagine I'm putting this on to, can we get one note? Chapter 2, the United States. As I mentioned, during the time of Buena Vista Social Club, salsa music in Cuba, where timba was undergoing a dramatic radical transformation. But in the United States, salsa had taken on a very different direction. Wait, one second. Okay. No, not break yet. Had taken a very different direction. Salsa music at that time had actually been changing a lot. And we can see that as evidenced by the works of Hector Lavoe. So Hector Lavoe, who was a Puerto Rican, and the next song I'm going to do is called Déjala que siga andando, which is very interesting. It's actually an example, it's kind of originally it's a pachanga, which is characterized by a festive, lively dance style and mischievous lyrics. And the happiness of the song belies the sadness underlying the lyrics, that the fact of the man lamenting the fact that the woman that he loves does not love him back. This song is also a very interesting example of cultural appropriation, because the US was amassing a fortune in salsa revenues during the 70s and 80s by banning the works of Cuban artists and appropriating the same music for their own commercial gain, changing it just enough and making enough alterations to the lyrics that they didn't have to cite or give financial compensation to the original people who wrote it. So this specific song, it was originally, the version that we hear a lot, or that's on Spotify, was performed by Hector Lavoe, but it was originally written by the Cuban composer Jose Antonio Mendez under the name Decídete mi amor. But they changed the name just enough that they didn't have to give compensation to the Cuban artists. And you can imagine at that time there's a lot of anti-Cuban sentiment in the US. So. a lot of work. We put a lot of work into this to make sure we get evidence it happened. So, can I get a side note? Doctor, I'm depressed, says the man. Life is harsh, unforgiving, and cruel. The doctor gets very excited. He says, there's a new clown in town. His name is Pagliacci. He'll for sure make you happy. He'll sort you right out. But the man bursts into tears. But doctor, he says, I am Pagliacci. I first heard this joke when I read the book Watchmen, which is a comic, also my favorite book of all time. But it has its basis in an opera called Pagliacci, which is a play within a play. And in this, it was written in 1892. And in this play, you see a narrator who is like a deformed, broken clown who tells the audience that they're going to see a play that deals with all aspects of the human experience. It deals with life and love and sadness and death. But he encourages them that as they're watching this play, to also consider that the actors themselves, the people who are standing in front of you, are also likewise experiencing the same giant amalgam of emotions, and that they should be recognized as such. And this is a theme that I think we've seen a lot in the current time. For example, most recently in the death of Robin Williams, who was known as like this really charismatic, really funny guy who always exuded positivity, who was nevertheless very deeply suffering. This song that we're going to perform, El Cantante, is likewise a very self-reflective text, wherein through the act of performance, it means what it means to be a performer. The actor, or the singer sings. He says, I am here to make you have a very good time. I'm the best. You want to have like a freaking blast. But nobody asks if they're suffering, if he's wounded, if he is experiencing pain. So at the time of his performance, Hector Lavoe was not having an amazing time. His sales were terrible. He was seen as unreliable and very risky due to a suspected and later validated drug addiction. It was actually a kind of gift given to him by Ruben Blades, who acknowledged that Hector himself meant the song air of authenticity that he would not have been able to deliver. So with that, This is the last song before we take a quick break, and then we're going to keep playing until we're kicked out. Can I get one note? Let's say sad. Yeah. Thank you. Hector Lavoe's life was beset by tragedy. He struggled with addiction, and within a span of 5 years, his 17-year-old son was accidentally shot and killed by a friend. His apartment was destroyed in a fire, and his father and mother-in-law both passed away. In addition, he was also diagnosed with HIV, which later became AIDS from intravenous drug use. One day, unfortunately, after a concert he was scheduled to perform at was canceled 2 hours before it was supposed to begin. He unfortunately attempted to kill himself by jumping off a Gondala hotel room in Puerto Rico. He got sicker and sicker from AIDS, yet he continued to be booked by promoters who really saw him as like this genius of salsa. He was called upon to give public appearances. Even though he kept canceling, he was too sick to perform, they still kept booking him, just trying to get stuff off of him. He kind of reminds me of the Britney Spears song, Give Me More, actually. And I watched these final television interviews, and it was really, he kind of seemed like a husk of a man. And in any case, his legacy does live on in his music. And here we're going to perform the song, Todo tiene su final, or Everything Has an End. And the song is very upbeat, it's very fun, even as it ponders the unavoidable fact that everything in this world will end, while nevertheless emphasizing the importance of persisting, even in recognition of this fact. So with that.
One, two, three,